Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is the Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about life, specifically your money, your work, your relationships, and, who knows? We'll take your question because it's a free call. 888-825-5225 is the number. I'm Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, host of The Ken Coleman Show on the Ramsey Network, joined by my colleague, John Deloney. He is the host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, and also Ramsey personality and relationship guru, mental health, emotional health. We'll talk about it all. I focus on purpose in work, whether that's just, hey, I need to make more money so I can get a bigger shovel, get out of debt faster. I want to get promoted so that I can do the work that I was born to do. We're going to cover all that, plus your money questions today. John, good to be with you, sir.
You too, man.
You ready to roll?
Yeah, but I saw on the internet that you got a big announcement you made this week.
Yeah, well, no, we haven't. It was, it was on social, which I don't understand because the social media team said, hey, let's tell people about it. So it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
But then with Dave and I the other day, it's like, yeah, we'll wait till Monday. So Monday, August the 2nd.
Will be the big announcement?
Will be the really big announcement. We have two massive projects that I've poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into.
Yes.
And it's very exciting. But
so
if you want it,
2 more days, 3 more days.
Or you can go to my Instagram account, @Ken Coleman, and we showed it there. So I don't know. You see what I'm saying? They got a little electrical thing connected to me.
I saw you just get zapped.
And if you talk about it too soon, they'll just zap you, and then, that's not going to be pretty for anybody.
That is a part of this world that, for the person just listening, there's a lot of people that control what we can say and not say. And one of them is, we got exciting projects, and we'll tell you later.
We'll tell you when we're allowed to tell you.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
But I am excited. But thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, we're really excited. And you're working on a book too now.
Yeah,
come on.
Man,
you're in the throes. Speaking of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, there's a lot of tears.
Which do you have more of right now? Blood, sweat, or tears? Or is it equally distributed?
It's both. It's just a mess. It's a laundry day after every writing day. Yeah, lots of late nights, man. I'm ready to get this thing off to the editors.
I get it. Yeah, we got big news, so we'll share that. Very exciting stuff. But, hey, it's all about you this hour, 888-825-5225. We got a great-looking crowd in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions here in Nashville, John. They're fired up. I see some people wearing debt-free shirts. We're probably going to talk to them later. This is a reminder that we are open for business. You can come see us. We got free cookies, cold beverages, hot beverages. I should point out they're non-alcoholic. We don't have any.
You don't got to point that out. You can bring your own flask.
You could.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna check you out on that. So
no, there's a young kid over there. He looks like he's got a flask too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep an eye on him during the show. That could make it really interesting.
That's right.
All right. Let's get to the phones, shall we? Let's go to Klamath Falls, Oregon. I hope I said that right. Crystal joins us there. Crystal, how can we help?
Hi, John and Ken. I'm elated to talk to you both.
Well, we're excited to talk to you. What's up?
I actually had a 2-part question for you, a little bit more targeted towards Ken. I'm a mom, a foster mom, a working professional in a great marriage that I've been in for 17 years. I'm nearly debt-free. Thanks.
Wow, way to go.
But with all of that, I'm also a former foster youth. And I'm looking at creating some multifaceted training materials for foster, biological, and adoptive parents. And I'm in need of a mentor or a guide for this process. I don't have, but not just like any mentor, like somebody who's actually done it for themselves, maybe that has created training materials, written books, etc. I know all of the Ramsey personalities have done it. So who do I call? Do I call a pastor, a counselor? Is there a website for Mentors R Us?
Yeah.
And then the second part,
that's not a bad idea,
actually. And then the second part of the question is, how do you feel about mentors who charge for money for their time?
That's not a mentor. That's not a mentor.
That's a coach, yeah.
That's a coach or an advisor that you're paying a consultant. So don't do that per se until you figure out what specifically you need, because you might need that coach. You might need that paid advisor. So let's break that down. You've done a great job of explaining what you want to do. You're going to be in the content business. This is what John and I do. Okay, there's a why behind this. It's a beautiful why, by the way. As an adoptive parent, I got to tell you, love what you're doing. You got a fan in me. Just want you to know that. And I love your story, and would love to know more about it. All right, so what specifically? Are we talking about the creation of the content? Are we talking about producing it once it's written or created and getting it out there? Is it about distribution? Is it all of the above?
Well, I can already tell you that I already have like my outline and my introduction for my book. Mm-hmm. I've already gotten I already have a multifaceted training program outlined and a full detailed PowerPoint presentation prepared. And I've had numerous conversations with lots of nonprofits and state organizations. I'm not just sleeping on the job.
Right.
Have you gone out and road tested this?
Yeah.
Have you met with groups and given the presentations and taught this stuff and had people give you feedback on it?
That's kind of the step I'm in right now. Okay. One of the things I'm noticing is that those programs that I'm basically presenting the materials to, they all want the material, but they almost want to change the material to almost meet their mission and their goals, and it just doesn't feel in line with where I want it to be and where I want it to go and where I feel like I'm being called to go. And so I really just need somebody to kind of be my accountability buddy, to issue me deadlines, and then somebody who will also be honest with me and tell me if it totally stinks.
Yeah. So let me get back to where we were on the three things. John's right. You do need to test it, but if you fully flush this out, I know you got the PowerPoint, but I don't really, that to me is not as important as, have you written all this out? It sounds like you've got a piloted version, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
I do. I have a piloted version. I do not have the full content, and so I almost need somebody to like push and give me I need 20 pages by the end of the week.
Yeah. So now I would tell you that I think it would be good for you to kick the tires and talk to several writing coaches. I'll tell you, there's one that I recommend. I've interviewed her on my show before. She's really good. Her name is Allie Fallon. You can contact her. I'm not telling you she's the only one. I'm just telling you she's one that I know, and she's really, really good at helping people. As she has a writing coach service, but there are others. I want you to check out at least 3 or 4 more, because if that's what you're needing is the coaching plus the accountability and the discipline to finish this stuff, I think that would be wise to do. But then it's back to what John asked about, and that is, how much have you tested this? And you're going to run into some of this stuff, this frustration you have of, hey, I presented this organization and they didn't want to do it turnkey. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to be okay with that.
So I'll put it this way as nicely as I can. I've written 2 dissertations. I've published academically. I've written a best-selling book. And I tell you what, I've had to have a lot of people say, John, you think this is good and it sucks. And it's a lot of editing, a lot of revising, a lot of, hey, this sounded good in my head, but it didn't work in reality for this business or that person, that single mom. So you're going to have to enter this process with a lot of humility too, right? Take your idea and your passion and let other people refine it.
That's right. So get the coach, finish it, then test it, edit it, test it again. Keep going with it. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't move. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
This is The Ramsey Show, helping you move forward on the path that you have set out for yourself, whether it's financial or professional or relational. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. We're taking your calls, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. The housing market is hot, Doc. It really is. I mean, it's unbelievable what homes are going for in our area and around the country, and your house could be worth a lot more than it was when you bought it. This means your old insurance policy might not give you enough coverage anymore. And what's the point of paying for insurance that won't swing the cost to repair or rebuild your home? Some of the policies will automatically raise your coverage to cover rising home price or material costs, but not all of them. So, if your home's value has gone up, talk to one of our endorsed local providers. These independent agents will compare multiple policies to find the best coverage for your home. Text HOME to 33789 and talk with a trusted insurance pro about the right coverage for you. Text the word HOME to 33789. Let's go to Rockville, Maryland, where Amanda joins us. Amanda, how can we help?
Hey, thank you all so much for what you guys do. It's been a huge help to my life in so many ways, and I'm really grateful for it. I'm 33 years old. I'm on Baby Step 2 with about $63,000 in student loans left to go. But my question is actually a career question. I'm at a point where I'm facing some choices in my career that I haven't really had to face yet. I'm really fortunate that I have a lot of good options ahead of me. The background is I'm a freelancer in film and television. I recently came off of a long contract with a great company whose culture I love. I love my team there. I have the opportunity to go back to that company, but I would be going back to the exact same role without much potential for growth at this time or if ever. Additionally, I need some time off in November for a commitment that I have, and the company more than likely cannot allow me the time off. And then in the meantime, I'm actually being recruited by two of the largest companies in the playing field for a position that would be up the ladder with more responsibility, higher salary. But as you know, the interview process takes some time, and my boss at the former company needs a decision from me by next week about my ability to return. So I just don't know how to approach these really good opportunities that I have ahead of me.
Sure. So what would you do if neither one of these were available to you? What would you do? Would you go get a day job until you found the next freelance or film opportunity? I mean, I'm just curious because I think we have to look at this because there's two ways I think you could go. You could take this current job knowing that you've got something else going. I don't think there's anything terribly ethically wrong there. It's not always the greatest, impression you leave when you sign up with somebody and you leave 2 or 3 months later inside of that. But there's nothing terribly, there's nothing unethical about it, but it's not your first choice. So what would you do? What could you do that's temporary that would allow you to take care of what you need to take care of? Because you've got debt you're paying off. So we want to stay stable. We don't want to interrupt income. So what could you do and play this thing out? Because you got two companies that are recruiting you. There's a good chance you might get an offer, but we don't know how long it's going to take.
Right, exactly. Right now I'm with a smaller company that I'm on a temporary contract for, and that will last at least 3 more weeks. But yeah, there's still that question.
How much time are you going to take off in November?
That would be about 3 weeks for another commitment. Okay. And that's for another job commitment that I have.
Yeah. So I think this comes down to a math answer. What can I do to stay afloat so that I can say no to this gig that while it's safe, and now they're bringing you back doing what you did before, there's no ladder. And you've got these other two opportunities that I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, if either one of those companies, big boys, call you and say, we want you, based on what you're interviewing for, are you going to take it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, then I think you have to hold out. So if it's me, I'm staying afloat, I'm treading water, and I'm probably not going to say yes to the previous gig because you're just not going to stay there. You're not going to stay there even if the big boys don't come to you. You're not going to stay there for very long. You're going to be looking, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm going to be patient and I'm going to be persistent and I'm going to tread water financially. I'm going to do whatever it takes, but I am going to say no. That's what I would do. But look, the reality is that's up to you. John, you got anything to add to that?
No, I think you're right on.
Yeah, I mean, hey, don't overthink this.
Yeah.
You've got to take the shot. And this is a ladder. You are in a race right now with other people. I'd give everything you got throw everything you got. I mean, fire every connection bullet, reference bullet you've got in the industry, and let's try to land one of those big boys because that's the ladder you want to be on. But I'm excited for you, Amanda.
Well, and
perfect.
Amanda, can I say this too? You're being recruited by the big kids, right?
Yeah.
You're coming off a long-term contract. You're the market is telling you, the world is telling you, you're really good at this.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we get to overthinking it, when we get those gaps in space, you start doubting yourself. Never forget to step back and detach for a minute and realize I'm really good at this. I'm going to find good work.
Yep.
And now let's go play with the big kids.
Yep.
Right?
Say no to the good, Amanda, so you can say yes to the best. Somebody said that. I don't know who it was.
I was going to say, man, you should put that on a jacket or something.
I don't think of that. I don't think somebody else has got that one, but it's still good advice.
I'm going to, from this day forward.
You're going to give it to me?
I'm going to give it to Ken Coleman.
Man, I'm very excited about that.
That's big time, man.
All right, back to the phones. Maria joins us now in Bakersfield, California. Maria, how can we help?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call, Ken and Dr. John. How are you guys?
We're having a blast. What's up?
Good. I'm calling more so on the topic of parenting. So for Dr. John, when I married my husband, I got blessed with 3 sons, and my question today, more so to get to the point, is to ask how do we help them so they get a lot of disappointments at their mom's house and.
Okay, we just lost her, so
I just lost you.
We'll try to figure that out. But that is. We got a little technical difficulty there. She's working on it. But this is interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting because what an interesting dynamic when you've got stepkids and you got 2 environments.
Yep.
And very different environments at that.
And the kids are having to toggle back and forth. And
what does that do to the kid? If we get her back, there we go. We got about 2.5 minutes. We'll see what we can do here.
We may hold you over.
We may hold her over. All right, Maria, we lost you there. You were talking about they have a negative environment or negative experience when they go to mom's. Pick up right there.
Right. So their safety is not in harm or anything, but constantly when they come back home, they have constant disappointment, especially with her boyfriend, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure, or I want to see what are the best steps for us to take to help them with that. It's heartbreaking to see them all the time coming home crying and things like that. So I touch their faces, how Dr. John says all the time, and I just want to know what's the best thing to do.
First and foremost, good for you. Like, man, I've just known and talked to so many step parents over the years that want to make this situation all about them. Why don't my stepkids don't like me or they won't respect me? And here you are, you flipped it around.
Yeah.
And you want to know how you can best honor these 3 boys who are caught in a nightmare trying to decide which parent they're going to they feel like this sense of loyalty to both sets of parents, and they're toggling back and forth to this environment and that environment. And it sounds like they've got a great, stable new stepmom in you, but they're also dealing with their biological mom's boyfriends and this and that, and just becomes an absolute mess. So good for you for thinking of them first. That puts you way ahead of the game. So here's what I want to do. We're coming up here on a break, and so I'm going to hold you over the break, and then when we come back, we can dig into this a little bit more. But before we go, how old are these boys?
They are 11, 9, and 7.
11, 9, and 7. And how long have you been in their life?
5 years.
5 years. And so are you and their dad married, or do you live there?
Yes.
And what are the custody arrangements? How long do they stay with you?
They 49-51. They're here most of the weekends and summer vacation and winter vacation.
Summer vacation and winter vacation. Very cool. So you get them a lot. So they're not huge fans of going to mom's house, huh?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like they're coming back pretty wounded, pretty frustrated. So, Maria, hang on.
Yeah, we got a debt-free scream coming up.
We got a debt-free scream.
So hang on, Maria, and then we're going to loop all the way back to
We're going to figure it out. John is taking over. We'll huddle during the break, but we're going to help you out. Don't move, and the rest of you don't either. This is The Ramsey Show.
Stop Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. We're taking your calls this hour, 888-825-5225. We're talking money, we're talking your work, we're talking your relationships. And right before our last commercial break, Maria joined us in Bakersfield, California, and she's a stepmom and got some young men that she's now parenting, and there's some tension and stuff in the other home, the mom. So, Dr. John, take it away.
So, Maria, right when we left, I want to tell you about, I was just so grateful for your heart. So I'm going to give you a couple of things you can do here. And it's not going to be a perfect scenario, okay? It's going to be tough, and it's going to be challenging. And this is the road y'all are on. I think it's important to know y'all are playing a long game here, right? You are raising 3 young men. You are not trying to make them happy every day, and they're in a tough situation. So the first thing you guys can do always, and I trust that y'all do this, never, ever, ever talk bad about their mom. Ever. Ever, ever. Okay? And if it's an abusive situation, then you're going to get the authorities involved. If it is a situation where they just don't like her, it's uncomfortable, etc., then you're going to deal with them when they're at your house the best you can, but you're never going to talk bad about mom. Number 2, you're going to make their home safe, stable, and consistent, right? They trust you. They're able to talk to you. Your home is a place where they go, right? If they end up with abusive boyfriends, it's unsafe. They continue to come home and they're crying. That's where I want to turn around and go back to either the social worker that's worked with this divorce, or at some point you got to go back and contact your divorce attorney and get potential new custody arrangements. Because even if they're physically safe, if they're coming home emotionally wrecked, then at some point they're psychologically unsafe. The trauma will stay with them for years and years and years. And the final thing for you, make sure you and your husband are staying close together. Don't take this stuff personally. This isn't an attack on you. This is somebody else dealing with her challenges at her house. Y'all two make sure you're good so that you can support these young boys. Heartbreaking situation. Y'all do the best you can hanging on to them, and make sure they got a safe space to come home to.
Yeah. Maria, you got this. Yeah. We love your heart.
Hard.
We love your heart. Thanks for trusting us, and best days are still ahead, I promise. Great stuff there. All right, John, I look out in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions and on the debt-free stage, fantastic couple out there, Jay and Megan. Jay and Megan, welcome.
Hi. Hey, guys. How are y'all?
How you doing over there? I guess you're here to do a debt-free screen by the look of the shirts.
Yes, sir.
It says debt-free on there. Even I can figure that out. Fun stuff. All right, where are you guys from?
Amarillo, Texas.
Oh, wow. That's a long way.
806.
806. Yes, sir.
And how much you pay off?
$163,000.
And how long?
About 3.5 years.
Whoa. Wow. Okay, what kind of debt are we talking about?
Mostly student loans, consumer, everything.
Cars.
Credit cards, cars.
Okay, pretty normal
So
stuff.
you're totally normal, just regular old West Texans.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Wow. What was your range of income during this time?
So we were at 120 to 180.
Ooh.
What do you guys do
happened?
for a living? Yeah.
So I'm a finance and accounting controller for Trinity Fellowship Church back home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm an audiologist. We own a hearing healthcare practice as well.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good. So you went from 120 to 180.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what was what happened there? Was it a promotion for both of you? What, extra work? What are we talking about?
Yeah. Just over the time, just between that 3.5 years. That's exactly what it was. Just promotions through work.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened 3 years ago that made you decide to go on this journey?
It's actually a little bit longer than 3 years, but he finally got on board with me about 3 years ago.
Oh, see, this is why we saw the giggles.
I love it.
Did you see the nervous
she
giggles?
Looked directly at him.
Yeah. And he's a big dude, and he got nervous.
The look was, I'm going to tell the truth in front of millions of people. Are you ready, honey? And he was like, I'm good.
And that's okay.
I'm
That's
good.
okay.
Good
'Cause it
man.
is true. That is
You're
the
a
truth.
smart man, by the way.
Thank you.
So, okay, so how long were you trying to get him on board? We know that 3 years ago he finally submitted.
Yeah.
But how long were you trying to get him on board?
It was probably a good 2 years, which we don't recommend.
No.
I was doing the plan by myself.
Jay.
Don't do
Jay,
that.
Jay, what's the problem? What was the problem?
Can I make some guesses? I'm just looking at you, and I'm totally judging you. Big truck or Jeep, big tires?
Nope.
No?
No.
Are you a sports
I
car
do have
guy?
a truck, though. I do have a truck, but no.
Okay, then what was the hang-ups? I was wrong. What was the hang-ups?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I mean, I was like half Dave. I was like Dave-ish.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But
you'll mostly do it unless there's something really cool that you want that day, and you'll just go get that.
So I like to golf.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right.
All
That's
right.
enough of you.
Yeah.
You're a golfer, huh?
Yeah.
John
golf.
looks down his nose at people like that because he's the real life Happy Gilmore. You ought to see this guy golf. He's never seen anything like it.
I'm incredible.
Golf trips, golf equipment. You know, I got some buddies back home.
Okay.
We like our golf trips.
I get it. So what? So okay. So I'm going to ask you this, Jay. So what happened 3 years ago where you finally say, "I'm in, babe"?
You know, so for me 3 years ago, it was in the process of when we were buying our new house, and I get the final. Here's going to be your final mortgage payment, and I'm looking at it thinking, you know, this is doable, but what's unacceptable is our car payment is almost, if not more than half of what that mortgage payment was going to be, and I'm like, that's insane. Like, we can't do that. Like, with that car payment and this mortgage payment, we can't afford
do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what'd you start doing? I mean, so you've been on the plan, Megan, and finally, Dolt over here decides to join in, and you guys get after it. What'd you do? How intense was it?
The very first thing we did was sell the big, brand new Expedition. We got rid of it.
Boy, John.
Big, beautiful Expedition. So I guess that's more to your point. Big Jeep, big tires. Okay. We had a
Turns out you were right.
I'm not going to say I told you so, but it's cool. So you sold the big fancy car.
We sold it. We got a Hyundai Sonata. And, you know, we're squished. We're still driving it. We call it the Sonata Cadillac.
Yes, I like that.
But nobody's dead.
Nobody's dead.
Your beautiful kids over here smiling.
They're here. They're not, you know, zombies from no screens in the back seat, things like that. That was the first thing we did.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
Like, no questions asked. We had to get rid of that thing. Yeah. We were drowning in it.
So who are your biggest cheerleaders?
These guys right here.
Yeah. This is our accountability group.
Yeah, they are accountability partners right here. They did it with us.
Yeah, they did.
And so it was so much easier just to, when we're having a moment where we want to take a vacation, you know, we've been doing this for 2.5 years. We deserve to take a trip, to text the Rachels and say, we want to go to Mexico. No, you're not.
Yeah,
don't do that. Just stick with it. Just
wait.
do it.
Just hang on.
Yeah.
Like, we're almost there.
That'll work.
We have a great church community as well.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so real quick, teach everybody listening that's haven't taken this journey, maybe they're in the middle of it, don't think they can finish. What's the key?
Oh man, we say that there's three primary keys. The first one is get on the same plan.
Yeah.
Like,
you just have to be on the same
100%.
plan.
Yep.
Have to.
Yep. Second one is accountability. Find just somebody that's doing it with you, whether it's in a Facebook group, somebody that's doing it in the church with you.
Yeah. Yeah. We're also coordinators for FU.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. So we've led three or four classes.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard not to stay on the plan when you're telling other people how to do the plan.
It's true how that works.
You kind of got to walk the walk. So.
Yes. Yeah. And then the third one for us, I think, is when we finally sat down and realized that God actually has a plan laid out for how He wants you to be a steward of His money. So when we first started, it was more, we got to do this because we made really stupid decisions. Yeah. And then when we figured out, you know, God had a plan it's written.
All along.
He has a plan, and it became less about discipline and more about stewardship, and that made it easy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we got to do. Let's get the kiddos in. While you bring them in, tell us who they are.
Okay, we've got Nolan.
Nolan.
He's 9.
Nice.
This is our Nolanator. And this is Elliot. She's 6.
All right, is everybody ready to do the debt-free scream? You guys are practicing. You're ready to go, right,
We're ready.
Nolan?
Ready.
Blow
Ready.
the roof off. All right, here it is.
Ready.
Jay and Megan,
Ready.
$163,000 paid off in 3 years, making $120,000 to $180,000. Beautiful legacy, beautiful family. Let's hear your debt-free scream.
You guys ready? Okay.
3,
Countdown. 3,
2,
2, 1.
We're debt-free! There it is. Yes. Another family debt-free, another legacy, another family tree change. Really good stuff. He is Dr. John Deloney. I'm Ken Coleman, and this is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and we're taking your questions about life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. John and I specialize in those two areas. I'm helping people find purpose in work, but also get the practical benefits of work, the paycheck, a bigger one, getting promoted so that you can do that and move into doing your dream job. And then John, of course, helping people with relationships, mental, emotional health. So we'll take those questions along with your standard money questions as well. Thrilled that you are joining us. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Chicago, Illinois, where Christine joins us. Christine, how can we help?
Hi, John. Hi, Ken.
How are you?
I'm a little nervous right now.
Hey, we're nervous
doing
too. It's all
great.
good. You're doing great.
Yeah.
What's up?
I have an important question to ask you in regards to job and career. Recently just started a newer job with really good pay. I'm a healthcare provider, working with the underprivileged and making a difference in trying to help these patients.
Awesome.
I'm just wondering at this point, with everything that's going on and trying to mandate the vaccine for healthcare providers in a lot of places, and now knowing that the federal government has implemented it in the VA system, and it might eventually trickle down to private practices and administrations and hospital administrations. How do you feel about compromising your morals for keeping a job?
So explain your moral challenges with this. Even though we don't know if you're going to have this mandate come your way, I do like that you're walking through it, but let's walk it all the way out. If they say you've got to have it for employment, where do you feel like you are sacrificing your morals?
My religious beliefs against the aborted fetal cells that are being used either in the process or in the actual vaccines they have available.
Yeah. Are you leaning towards compromising, or are you leaning towards saying, I can't do this and I got to walk? You were leaning one way or another when you called. Which way are you leaning?
Leaning towards not compromising.
Yeah. So you have to prioritize that. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If this is an integrity thing or a very deep religious held spiritual conviction, I support that. But you got to make plans for it. You've got to know what you can live with and what you cannot. And, I will tell you, you need to seek counsel. I've talked to several people in the last month, some on my show, and I've got friends calling me. I've got a friend who called me who's a state employee in another state and feels like it's coming down, and asked me the same question. And he has done some homework. He went and sought legal counsel. And I would seek legal counsel, an employment specialist, and I would get some counsel, maybe 2 or 3 different lawyers, and talk to it about the religious exemption. I will tell you that It's going to be, I think, a grab bag, maybe 50-50 as to whether some organizations will say that's okay. Some, I think, will honor the religious exemption. I'm hearing of that, and some will not, and it's going to be a time to choose, unfortunately. That's where we stand. But, look, if you plan for this financially, and you've got a plan for if this happens, what would I do? Meaning I'm going to walk, I'm not going to take it. As long as you got a plan, then I think you have to honor your conviction there. I'm not going to tell you to go against your conviction.
Yeah, and what I would recommend two things. Number one, get some information. I've when it comes to the vaccine, I've never heard of the particular challenges you've mentioned. I've tried to stay pretty close to the science on it, but I may be wrong. I've never heard that. So I'd get with some folks you're in the medical field so you can get some good clarity on that. The second thing is back out of this, because this is a hot moment in history. Back out of this particular issue and ask yourself on any ethical issue. They ask you to start overbilling somebody. They ask you to go ahead and change this number on Medicare. They ask you to fudge your mileage a little bit when you're taking these kids to their appointments. Whatever the thing is, I always want you to double down on doing the right ethical thing for your heart, for your family, for your conscience. And that goes back to what Ken was talking about on any particular issue. That's why the emergency fund is so important. That's why having a network is so important. That's why having friends in your life, friends are your emergency fund for life, right? That's why we do these things, so that when you're faced with situations, regardless of what they happen to be, and you say, I've got to walk out that front door, that you've got a safety net. You've got a cushion there for you, right? Yeah. So if you feel like this is coming down, what I don't want you to do is catastrophize it. Yeah. I don't want you to set yourself off into fight or flight and start solving problems that aren't there yet. And we can all do that. We can ruminate. We can just sit there and go down internet rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole and make something, our bodies respond to an issue that hasn't even happened yet, right? And we can always get some more information. But do start playing, and if you have to make a hard choices, hard changes, have that safety net there.
Well, Christine, the decision's already been made. You've already made the decision, and I respect that. Right. I respect men and women who will take a stand on principle, and in this situation, this is a religious conviction. I will tell you, to me, it's about freedom. And, you can do all the research you want to, and somebody can, for every person that says what you say, that, hey, I don't like the way the vaccine's been developed and tested, you'll have somebody that goes, like John, well, I haven't heard that. So I think he's right. You can go do your homework and make sure that you're absolutely sure on that conviction, but do not waver. And, people calling, and I appreciate the call, but people saying, hey, should I do what I think is right, or should I do what I think is expedient for me professionally? And folks, we live in America where we've not had to make a lot of these choices all the time. And John's right. It doesn't always have to be a political vaccine issue, because this has become a political football. Yeah. Pure and simple. Yeah. I don't care what side you're on.
That's why I like to get out of those and say, when you're faced with any sort of
but you can't get out
issue.
of it. You have to say, in this particular situation, she doesn't feel right about this for the reasons that she left out. Now, you're right to say, go do your research and make sure that you're right, because this is a monumental decision. Right. You don't want to make it
right
on opinion or theory. We got to know the facts are the facts that then affect my belief. Right. However, you're also right. Yeah. This could be as simple as they're asking you to fudge your expense reports, so that they can cook the books. Right. That's equally wrong. And I would say the same thing. If you feel wrong about that, come up with a plan.
That's right.
You don't have to leave tomorrow.
That's right.
But if you want to leave tomorrow, I'm fine with that too.
That's absolutely right.
But you've got to also have a plan. Conviction is important, but we also need to do it in a way that's wise.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think that you address that.
We say this a lot on the show. Nobody makes good decisions when their head's on fire, right? When they're stressed, and when you spend hours and hours and hours huddled around a water cooler or huddled down internet rabbit holes. Man, those are designed to set your body on fire.
Well, I'm glad you said this, because I'm going to tell you something right now, and you may not agree, and that's fine. Yeah. Because you and I can disagree agreeably. We do it all the time. Yeah. But I think you're right. I don't care what the Biden White House is saying, and I don't care what your company is saying. Yeah. On some level, people have rights. Yeah. and you can go seek legal counsel and do your homework. But whatever mandates are coming or not coming, because we don't know that this is coming.
Of course.
We were hearing all kinds of stuff.
Of course.
The reality is there will be legal challenges to this stuff.
Of course there will be.
Which means delays.
Right.
So to your point, let's not all freak out and assume that we got to quit our jobs because somebody's going to make us take a vaccine that we don't want to take.
Yeah, so
let's not jump to that conclusion, because I think that's not that simple.
I've worked for places where I have been asked to be in situations that I'm not comfortable with. The beauty was I'd already thought through my ethical positions. And so when I came home and sat down with my wife and said, hey, here's where we are and here's what it was, it wasn't a, oh no, what are we going to do? Those were difficult when I owed 6 figures of student loans and we were paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, right? I put myself in a position where holding my ethical standards was more difficult.
Yeah. But we appreciate the call, Christine.
Great
this
call.
is not easy stuff. I love that you're getting out in front of it. But don't make a decision based on fear. Make it based on facts. Hey, I want to thank our producer, Ben Hill, our associate producer of this hour, Laura Johnson, back in the booth. I want to thank my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and you, America. Thank you for joining us. This is The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your work, your relationships. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and we are here for you, America. It is a free call to jump in. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Phoenix, Arizona to start this hour off. Thomas is there. Thomas, how can we help?
Hey, Ken, John, thank you for everything you guys do. I've got a quick question today. I am 24 years old, me and my wife, and we're making about $140,000 combined income per year. And we've got about a year or so now, we're going to be inheriting about $300,000 to $400,000 in single stocks from a family friend of ours. And I'm a huge numbers guy, and we're currently on baby step 2. We've got a car that we're going to have paid off in a couple of months here, and we also have a home that probably within 6 months after inheriting this money, we could completely pay off. I'm wondering, should I reinvest these single stocks into mutual funds and, kind of just work the baby steps and pay off our home in maybe, 5 to 6 years? Or should I just cash out this money and pay off the home?
How much do you have left in baby step 2?
Well, baby step 2 is about probably about $50,000 that we're paying off in a couple months here.
Okay, and so then you're moving into baby step 3 in just a couple of months.
Yes.
And how much do you owe on the home?
The home we are going to be owing probably about, at the time we receive this inheritance, probably, plus or minus, $20,000, right around $400,000.
Okay. So you're inheriting, you think, between $350,000 and $400,000. We're not sure what that number is.
It really depends on timing, yeah, because it's all in single stocks.
Yeah. Well, John, this is one of those deals where it's like, okay, that stock coming to you as an inheritance, I want you to sit down with one of our SmartVestor pros. I want you to start with that. Let's sit down and go, okay, what's that going to look like? The tax implications. I'm just not aware of that. If it's an inheritance of stock, are you aware of the single stock? So what I want you to do, the best thing to do is you're following our plan. I want you to get with a SmartVestor Pro. Do you have a SmartVestor Pro already that you are at least aware of? I know you're not in that step yet, but are you aware of a SmartVestor Pro in your area?
Yeah, and I actually am already with one prior to taking on this car debt that we have. We've got probably about $30,000 in retirement already on our own at 24.
Right.
And and I should have prefaced that inheritance that we're receiving, that's after tax.
Oh. Okay. All right. That solved my thing. Okay. So if it's me, I'm going to pay off the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to fast forward, all the debt, and now you're rocking and rolling.
The next day. The only reason I wouldn't pay off that house is if you're 24, you say?
Yeah, 24.
The only way I would not pay off the house is if y'all think you're going to move in the next 2 or 3 years.
No, yeah, and I don't think we will. Me and my wife, it's our 4-year anniversary coming up in a couple of weeks. We got married young, and we're here. We're for lifers here in Phoenix.
Awesome. Yeah, then pay it off the next day.
Pay the house off the next day
because now you're already there. Now you're the 15%'s coming out in baby step 4. You're saving for the kiddos in 5. You're already through 6, and it's all about 7. I'd pay it off instantly.
And then in 50, not 50. Let's give you some more than that. 80 years, somebody else. All of your kids are sitting down saying, hey, we all got $400,000 or $4 million, and how are we going to do this with our houses? Yeah. Right? Now you're talking legacy change.
I love that. Congratulations,
good for you, man.
Thomas. Yeah, that was a small detail that we needed. That's good. Yeah, if that's the money after tax, absolutely. Wipe it out.
Yeah, be done with it. That's fantastic.
Really fantastic.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, let's go to a social media question here. Chandler writes in on Facebook, how do I keep from wanting to keep up with the Joneses when I see everyone around me having nice things? I don't know what he's talking about, John. I've never had that problem.
I don't know. I have no idea what he's talking about. So, Ken, this is a good question for you and me because we're both strong-willed guys.
Yeah.
Neither of us like being told what to do, but I am a sucker for a Filson ad. I'm a sucker for a cool car driver on the road and being like,
I know.
I think I need to get that car.
Yeah.
Or a rifle or a new fishing rod.
Yep.
Man. So I don't like being told what to do. I don't like people in my head.
Yep.
But they're in my head.
Yeah, I'm with you on the golf clubs, the classic cars.
Man. So I'll tell you how I have to do it. Number one, it starts with intentionality and a budget for me.
Yep.
I have to know what I can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm hyper intentional. We talk a lot about this on my show. I'm hyper intentional about a gratitude journal, shifting my way of being towards what can I consume to I'm so grateful for what I have. And if life presents itself, or ultimately if I save for a car for a year, then I end up with a lot less car than I was searching for because I can get by with right. Yeah. So it's an orientation for how I just approach the world.
Yeah, I think that's right. I'd add 2 things for me because even in my gratitude, sometimes it's still that shiny thing, and I start comparing myself, man, and I can get in that. I'm like, hey, man, how did he get there? Yeah. How does he have all this? I can get there. So what I have to do is I have to focus on my priorities first. Yep. So what are my priorities? What am I putting my time and money into? Because it's intentional. Yeah. We live intentional. So it's like, well, I'm sacrificing here. I don't have that, but I have this, or I'm working towards this. What are my priorities? So I got to bring it back to what am I focused on? What's my story? What's my journey? Stop looking at their story.
That's right.
That's where you get all jacked up. Wait a second. He's got different priorities or whatever. Yeah. I'm making these decisions. So I remind myself, number one, of my priorities. Yeah. And then I take a good glance at the long term. What's the vision? What vision am I trying to make come true with our life? Because money's involved in that.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Stuff is a part of all that. Yeah. And so if I can do those 2 things, it does help me get back to that ultimate place of gratitude.
Kid, it's so funny.
I have to shake myself.
No, it's maddening to me because me, I'm a stats nerd. And I know the data says about happiness and money. Yeah. And I know that happiness says about how long it actually hangs on when you buy the new car and how much lower that happiness ROI is when you buy the second car. And I know what it says, that money doesn't bring you this, that other stuff doesn't bring you joy. Other stuff doesn't bring you past basic needs, doesn't bring you sleep, doesn't bring you a good marriage. But every person I know wants to be the one like, I'll try it out, right? Yeah. Give me a couple $1 million and I'll see if I can figure that out, right? And I have to constantly, for me, go back to the data and say, I keep believing this to be true. It is a myth. It is not true.
Yeah.
this is what's real and this is what's true.
Yeah,
right.
It's good. It's hard though. Man. It is hard. Nobody's immune to this.
Hey, and have a friend in your life that'll say, "You're an idiot. Stop."
Yeah, stop. Right? Would you be grateful, you pinhead? You know, I got some people like that. A little insult on that, by the way, is that extra piece. Just perspective, but
My
also
wife
an
doesn't have to
insult.
insult me. She just shakes her head.
Yeah.
Just what do you mean?
But that's kind of just being a husband. I feel like I live in that perpetual state of Stacy shaking her head. Well, even Laura Johnson did it when I used to work for her on the video channel. She just was always like, Ken. And so you learn to accept it. Hey, don't go anywhere. More of your calls. More hope, more breakthrough coming up. This is The Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
Welcome back, America. You are listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by Dr. John Deloney. We're taking your calls about life. Now, when John and I are together, we kind of have a fun combo. Of course, we can take your money questions. But I'm focused on helping you in your work, working on purpose. So that could be figuring out what is that work that I was born to do, or how do I get there? I know what it is, or how do I get there? Or, hey, I know what it is that I'm supposed to do. I know how to get there, but fear, finances, failure, family holding me back. We can talk about toxic stuff at work. That comes into John and I. We can talk about burnout, what's going on there, relationships. John can talk about relationship, parenting, marriage, and all of this stuff, of course, is under that money umbrella. We're talking about life. So we'd love to hear from you. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Okay, so John, I've got an article. It's fresh. It's like those. It's like the hot now sign at Krispy Kreme. All right, this is hot. Wall Street Journal.
So fresh and so clean. Let's do it.
Okay. And here's the headline. And you have an interesting perspective on this.
Yeah.
Because of your higher ed background.
Yes.
So I'm really fascinated.
Okay.
All right. Al Lord. Here's the headline. Al Lord profited when college tuition rose. He is paying for it. Al Lord is the former chief executive of student loan giant Sallie Mae. And he's got to complain about higher education. This is where it gets rich. The irony is so deep right here, you might need a life jacket.
Exactly.
The price of college is too high, he says. Paying for his grandchildren's education in recent years, he said, left him appalled at the tuition bills that land on his desk every semester. This is a direct quote. Boy, am I sure glad we save for my grandkids. If the average income is $40,000 or $50,000 or $60,000, I just don't know how you do it. For the record, Al, he's still out of touch. The median family income in the United States right now is $78,500. So just a quick snapshot. All right.
But that's the median. But there's also
the median.
Tons
that
of folks outside. That's right.
A lot of people in that range he's talking about.
Yeah.
40,000 or lower.
Right.
And he's going, how do they afford it? Well, the news is, Al, they can't.
They don't.
But you set up a system where they feel like they might be able to. The irony, John. So it goes on in this article where he basically comes out and says, I knew what was going on. He was like, look, here's what happened. I was a partner in the government. And Congress gave Sallie Mae an unbelievable return. They encouraged banks to finance all these loans. Yeah. And then it turned into this massive, massive company where the stock holdings were worth $300 million. And he says in this article, there's no question in my mind, I knew what was going on. He knew that they were making it easier and easier and easier for people to go into debt. He's admitting this. Yeah. So there you go. When I read this, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. He's coming out saying, yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
but they allowed it.
Yeah.
See, because higher ed's basically said, all right, let's just keep jacking up tuition because we're giving people a vehicle to do it. And so I want to ask you this. I've been talking about this. Malcolm Gladwell's been big on this issue. You got Harvard, I think, has a $40 billion endowment. Columbia, I think, top 10 endowments in the country. Their staff and even some of their leading educators in administration have asked, can we use some of the endowment to help pay for the graduate degrees, and they're not doing it? I just want to know, what are your thoughts here? How do we not feel like this is about big business and not about education?
Yeah, I've heard the phrase with some of the schools that they are hedge funds with a student component to them, right? That they're just giant hedge fund companies. So a couple of things haven't been inside. It's easy to think of an endowment as just a giant savings account. Much of endowment funds are tied up in a donor gives this much money and wants it paid out to this type of thing over this many years.
So it has strings attached.
Tons of strings, right? So when I think of an endowment, I just think of a savings account and that's not how those always work. Now, you can get creative and find new ways, etc. I think at the end of the day, you've got a group of schools with massive endowments and thousands of schools that do not have that. And so to lump everybody in that pile is tough.
So let's get away from the endowment conversation. Let's just talk about, this has been a steady rise in tuition. It's just been going. Yeah. And here's the guy that led Sally Mae, and he's going, it's out of control. Yeah. It's too much.
I was part of a think tank that we dug into this thing. The challenge here is it's a strange universe. You can actually create a college tuition model that has no loans, no scholarships. That here's just what it costs to come here, and people came back. It's the J.C. Penney model. You know what? We're not doing any more sales. We're not. We're just it costs $7 to get a shirt. Come get a shirt. And J.C. Penney almost went away, right? People want this idea that I am going to pay more but get a scholarship and do this and get a. It's just a game that's gotten out of control on everybody, and somebody outside that system is going to come up and disrupt the whole thing because it can't work.
No.
And colleges have known this for years. Again, I've sat with people.
Yeah, the clock's ticking.
Have wept. We know we've got to stop doing this to kids, and they just can't seem to turn the nozzle. And unfortunately, when you can't turn the nozzle in your own house, somebody will come and do it for you. And you can talk to the Blockbusters of the world. It happens. The Kodaks of the world.
And there's a storm brewing. It's coming both ways.
Dude, it's been brewing and brewing and brewing and brewing.
It's hard not to think that higher ed cares more about their fortunes than your future. That's what I say.
It's hard, man.
And it's tough stuff. So very interesting stuff there. It's I'll tell you this, Ramsey Solutions, we're going to get in this. We're going to be disrupting this stuff. Because here's the deal. People are going to get to the point where they're going, look, I need to get qualified. And there's lots of ways to get qualified.
Well, what you're starting to see happen is quiet proposals. Like the American Counseling Association quietly says, why don't we just create our own program, right? And I just picked them out of the air. When GE finally just says, you know what, we're going to train you for 18 months and you can work for us. It's going to start happening. It's going to start chipping off.
So Google's already doing it. So Google announced a major initiative last year where they've got 6-month training programs in several key areas, mostly technology-based, but it's like a hiring farm system, like the major leagues.
Yeah.
They've got a farm system.
So can I ask you
this? They're training people they want.
As a citizen. So I'm a lifelong educator, so my bias is there. I always want our citizens to know about history. And I saw that thing the other day that this many middle schoolers and high schoolers have no concept of Nazi Germany. They don't know what that story is, right?
That's tragic to me.
So you've got history, you've got basic science. We got folks, like we talked about the COVID vaccine earlier, folks who we don't even have basic science literacy across the board. So we can't even say, is that? There's science, there's math, there's just general quote-unquote knowledge. My fear about having some of these companies break off and just say, you know what, I'm going to do an 18-month training program, come work for me, is you lose a collective knowledge. Well, the other side of it is we can't charge $100,000 for, we can't. It's impossible.
I think you make a good point.
How do you find that balance?
Well, so because I'm pretty vocal on this stuff, and I've had some educators come in and go, why do you hate higher education? I go, number one, I don't.
Yeah.
I respect the liberal arts.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there's more to the college experience than just your liberal arts.
Well, yeah.
And so you're going to have to get trained. You guys are going to have to step your game up in training people to be able to move into the workforce and adapt
to
and
go
get
work.
in it.
Yeah.
I love the focus on the liberal arts. And I would say this, that I probably am going to freak you out on this, but I'm for a basic level of history. I think we need to be teaching that better.
Yeah.
In the elementary, middle school, and high school. But
man.
once you get to the college age, unless you want to go into history, I could be like, hey, look, we've got to make higher education about preparing people for their future. So to me, I love I love some customization, meaning a kid comes in and goes, look, I want to go into this. And we go, hey, we think this would be good. And I'm for some core stuff at college, but I'm not as concerned about it. I'm more concerned about what you're talking about. Why is this true? Because of our current education system in K through 12.
Yeah.
I remember stuff from history from K through 12. I remember stuff about science. Not a whole lot because I don't like science. But I'm not good at science, and that's what I teach.
And that's where I think a lot of the higher ed problems, outside of the pricing issue, which is a whole other thing, and you start rolling downhill and start pulling that thread, man, it comes all the way back to test-based and kindergarten, middle school, high school. We got a lot of work
you and I
to
can
rethink
talk
our
about that for
education
hours
system.
and hours and hours. So the bottom line is it's got to be more relevant, and it's got to be easier for people to do. All right. I see some folks, in the lobby. Great crowd here. Don't move. We're taking your calls. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, host of The Ken Coleman Show on the Ramsey Network, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. He's the host of the Dr. John Deloney on the Ramsey Network. You're probably wondering, how much time did you guys spend on those names? Was there a lot of creative people in the room when we came up with those?
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, and hours upon hours, and that's what we came up with.
I know.
What do you guys think about the Ken Coleman Show? Yeah, good? We like that? Okay, let's go with that. So that's what we did.
That's what we did.
Same thing with
you. It's same. I had some awesome rock band names that it was gonna be awesome, dude. And
that's so great.
It didn't work.
All right, couple ways to engage, 888-825-5225. You can also engage with us on social media as well. John and I were talking during the break. And based on what he does on the Dr. John Deloney Show, easy said, huh? Focusing on relationships, the mental and emotional health, and then I'm helping people get out of those dead-end jobs, get out of some toxicity. He and I both deal with this. So we were talking during the break. So we're going to throw this out there. If you're in a situation right now, you're walking out the baby steps, so you're gazelle intense, and you really need that job. I mean, it's the shovel. But you're in a really crappy, let's just call it toxic, nasty situation with either coworkers or your leader.
Or your leader.
Your leader is an impossible pinhead.
I did an event with Entree Leader the other day. Entree Leadership, the group here. Yeah, about leaders. I want to hear about your bad leaders.
Oh, it's the worst thing with companies is the leadership. If you're in a horrible leadership situation, you want some advice from John and I, we love that.
I want to hear about your boss, man.
So here's the deal. We'll change your name and your location.
Yes.
Because we don't want you to get fired. We want you to leave and tell them to stick it, right? It's a great song by Johnny Paycheck. Take this job and shove it.
Yes.
888-825-5225.
Call us about your boss. I want to hear it.
We'll do that. But first, look at this. We got another fantastic couple out in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage from Austin, Texas. Scott and Holly, welcome.
How you guys doing? Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So you're here to do a debt-free scream.
Yes,
Very
sir.
Exciting. Okay, tell us about it. How much did you pay off?
$194,500.
$194,500 in how long?
2.5 years.
What?
And we paid the first $140,000 off in the first 13 months.
Oh, my goodness. Now, does this include a house?
It does not include a house.
What kind of debt was it?
Cars.
Wait a second. Am I guessing here that you're a gearhead?
Yes, sir.
What kind of cars, man?
Anything that has wheels.
No, come on. Tell me something. There had to be a car or two in there you're a little proud of.
'69 Chevy Nova.
I knew it.
I mean,
I knew it.
Anything up to 2015 Ford F-250.
How bad did it hurt?
Horrible.
Yeah. Which one hurt the most?
The ones that I did for this.
Oh. All right.
Man.
All right. Okay. Okay.
And then the rest was student loans.
Student loans.
Credit cards.
Wow.
And
okay.
that was about
What
it.
was your range of income in this time?
$150,000 to $170,000.
Okay. Wow. What do you guys do?
I'm a physical therapist.
Okay.
Oil and gas industry.
Oil and gas. Now, was some overtime here to get to that $20,000 bump, or is it just gradual increases?
Promotions.
Okay, good.
Quite a bit of overtime.
Excellent.
And you guys have a great salary, but I don't want that to overshadow. Y'all paid off $200,000 in 28, 29 months. That's a lot of money. So you have a good salary, but y'all were
changes.
getting after it.
Major
Was it a
changes.
lot of you said? So tell us again. Remind us how much you paid off in that first 13 months. You said.
$140,000.
Whoa! Talk to me about that. Detail that for us.
So we sold everything. I don't know if you noticed our shirts and our friends' shirts, but they say we sold everything but the kids.
Yeah, right. I've heard that before.
We literally did that. We unfortunately sold all his toys, a razor, a boat, and they were all paid off for cash.
Oh, no.
So those were hard. And then his baby, we sold that. We had a loan on it. And
what's the baby again? The Nova?
This truck.
There it is. There on the YouTube. Wow.
Listen, that's a beautiful truck, man.
Thanks.
And that was the day we sold it.
I wiped away the tears for that picture.
Did you really?
Close.
Are you joking?
No.
I thought you might
pretty
be
close.
Yeah,
it was
right.
pretty close.
Oh, I bet. Wow.
Yep.
So you sell all the cars. You're driving a Corolla around Austin, Texas. Not near as cool as you used to be.
It was a 20-year-old vehicle, yes.
There you go. Right.
So that gets you going.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how quickly into all the sell-off do you guys go, oh, wow, we are going to do this? You really believed.
Yeah, I think that was the hardest part. We were just talking about it before the show, was him coming forward and saying, okay, I'll sell my truck. And I kept pushing for that because it was a big loan. And he turned around and said, okay, then we're selling the boat and the razor. And they're both cash. And I was like, no, we don't owe anything on those. We don't want to get rid of that. And he said, if we're selling, we are selling, and we are getting rid of all of this debt. If we're going to do it, we're going to get it done. We're really big into going and doing and traveling. Yeah. And we were telling people no constantly. And the only thing we would do is home vacations with these guys, our friends over here. People would come visit us, but we kept telling everybody no.
Who had the first conversation with who? Who sat down and said, I'm scared. We owe a couple $100,000 and I can't breathe?
She's been talking to me about it for quite a while.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't ever get on board with it.
Gotcha. And what finally pushed you over the edge?
You know, it's one of those things, like just being upfront and honest, just really tired of hearing about it. And then you listen to the Dave Ramsey show and you hear about the people that have done it and how they're living life now. We're real big into trying to give to our community and do work like that, but we really didn't ever have the opportunity to, because we were living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we were doing good, but it was all going out just as fast as coming in.
Yeah. So 2.5 years ago, you finally say, I'm tired of her telling me we have to do this. I'm going to start listening to the show and then hearing the stories like you're sharing right now. That was the moment for you that led to it? Wow.
Yes, sir.
And then when you said I'm all in, it's all right. We are.
You were definitely all in.
All in, or go home, or go big or go home, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So we've heard a lot of this, but what is the mental or emotional key, or what's the discipline that you would say to folks listening right now that allowed you guys to walk this?
You know, first and foremost, I mean, you got to be pretty strong with your relationship, you know, with your teammate, with all your friends that are going to do this with you. You know, having that physical, you know, help to go forward and just keep doing it, keep you on track is the biggest thing that I would say is everybody has to be all in.
And you have to remember that there are going to be fights. We've heard these debt-free screams for the last 2.5 years, and people say it's hard, but they don't tell you how hard it is and how stressful. There's times he didn't want to keep doing it. There were times I didn't want to keep doing it. The first 13 months were easy because we sold everything, but after that, it was like slow and plugging away. And we did things wrong, and we'd get back on track, and ride, and then we'd fall off again and get back on. But we knew we wanted to do it, and we knew we were on the same page on that part, and that helped. And then having good support system.
Scott, give me one quick thing to a husband who is sitting there and he feels like his wife is just complaining and nagging and whining, and what would you tell him? You're a Texas male that sold his F-250. It didn't get much more, you know what I mean? That's
and
basically you sold the kid,
Nova.
right? And a 69 Nova. What do you tell that guy?
Man, leave your ego at the door, man.
That's right.
Be all in, be supportive and ride it, go with it.
So great.
How's it feel now?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's very freeing, and it's something that you can't even explain. The day we paid off on March 4th, I was like, we're done. What do we do now? And then obviously we keep going through the baby steps, but that moment, just knowing, and our kids were like, now we can go do this, or we can give to this, and we can donate here. And
I love
those types of things were just so
incredible.
It's just a freeing
What a
feeling.
great legacy that the kids are talking about. In fact, let's go ahead and bring them up and introduce the kiddos to everybody. I'm sure they're ready to do this scream. They've practiced.
Yes.
Who do we have?
This is Brecken. He's 10, and Taylor is 8.
Brecken and Taylor? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, Brecken and Taylor. All right, so if they practice, you guys are ready. Brecken and Taylor. Okay, all right, here we go. So, in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage is Scott and Holly, Brecken, and how did I say it again?
Taylor.
Taylor, got it.
Yeah.
$194,500 in 2.5 years, making $150,000 to $170,000. Let's hear your debt-free scream.
All right, count it down. 3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yes! Look at that. Yeah. Another family. The kids get it. So love it. Hey, now we can give. What can we do with this money? That's the legacy of financial peace. Don't move. This is The Ramsey Show. Back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. Thrilled to have you with us. 888-825-5225 is the number. John and I mentioned this earlier. We're going to have some fun here. Both of us are talking during the breaks, and we get a lot of calls about people that are just dealing with mental and emotional damage from work, John. Just difficult people. And a lot of times it's an awful, and I mean train wreck, awful human being that's their leader. And it causes unknown physical, emotional, mental challenges.
Yeah. And it ricochets through families. It ricochets through communities. It's affecting you at home, no question.
Yeah. And but yet you're going, well, we need the job. How can I change jobs while I'm in the baby steps?
Or
you can, by the way. I can help you.
Of course. But it's also, this is the identity thing I hear a lot, Ken. But I'm a fill in the blank.
Yes.
I'm an IT guy. I'm a roofer. I'm a landscape architect. Like, as in, this is the only shop in town. Right. I'm that guy, so I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
It's not true. So we want to tackle that holistically.
I want to hear about these bosses, though. It's good radio.
Too.
I want to hear about your leadership experiences, man. Call us
here's the deal. We're going to change your name and your location. Laura Johnson is a pro. I mean, come on. She's in the Hall of Fame.
She's the OG. That's right.
So she'll change your name, location, and here's what we're going to do. John's going to tackle the emotional and the mental stuff, and then I'm going to come in and we're going to work on, okay, what's the path out of there?
That's right.
Because this is a big problem.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So you got a horrible boss. We want to hear the story. Oh, what about the jerk coworker that makes you want to throw your head in an oven every day?
Are you looking at me, Ken? I see
no,
what you
not
just
at
did.
all.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Or if you, during COVID, if you have been promoted 4 times and now you got a fancy title and they've given you 11 new departments and no pay raise.
Yes.
Because are you not grateful?
Right.
What do you mean?
Right. Oh, here's one.
You're the associate to the assistant to the vice president.
That's
now.
right. Here's one. You really like working from home. You didn't know it was your jam. and now you're being told you got to come back in. What do you do? I need that income, Ken. Help! We'll take it all on.
And I tell you, man, y'all have been more productive in the last 6 months than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But everybody's got to come back, right?
Yeah.
So, let's bring it all in, man.
There's a lot of stuff out there. So
I want to hear about these bosses. 888-825-5225.
All right, let's speak of the situation. Sarah joins us in Lincoln, Nebraska. Sarah, how can we help?
Hi, Ken and Dr. John. How's it going?
We're having a blast. What's going on with you?
Good. You said to call in about some issues at work, so I just wanted to see if I could
Hey, we love it. What is happening at your workplace, Sarah?
I'll try to boil it down. But basically, I love my job and I love my boss, but I have a coworker who refuses to retire. She's been there for 33 years, and I work in a police department as a forensic scientist. So I have a lot of trauma and mental issues already as it is with just trying to deal with the work that we deal with.
Sure,
but I think it'd be a lot easier to do if I had basically coworkers that did their job. And so I guess my issue is I have other offers at other places, but I'm not willing to take the decrease in pay, which would be a really big decrease in pay in order to combat kind of just a bad coworker. It's one of those things like, do I just suck it up and deal with it? I've told my bosses about it, and more or less they are aware that I've tried to go to counseling to kind of get tools in my toolbox to figure out how to handle that. I've also changed shifts, so I avoid working with her personally. But it's one of those things where I think she's doing some unethical things, and when I bring that up, I've been flat out told, like, we don't agree with what she's doing, but we're never going to fire her. And we know that personally no one gets really along with her. She kind of bullies and intimidates a lot of people, and they're aware of that. And they're just like, yeah, we can't really change her personality. So when she retires, we'll just fix what we know that she's doing, that we don't like that she's doing.
Okay, so
but
first of all, Sarah.
it's also a hierarchy.
Yeah. First of all, I am so sorry that you've taken this to your leaders and they basically are saying, we agree, but we're not going to do anything about it. And I don't know if they're scared of her. I could spend all my time on this, but so that John and I can dive in a little bit more. What is happening with you changing shifts? So I know she's doing things that are unethical, but when you change shifts where you're not directly working with her, does that make it better? Or is the fact that you know she's doing unethical things just eating away at you like a cancer? Explain more.
I think it's a lot easier for me. I'm flexible with my hours, and it's easier for me to just change shifts to avoid that one-on-one.
But what my question is, when you avoid that, which is great, when you're not around her, are you in a place now where you love the job? You said, I love the job, love my boss. So when you're doing that, what's your emotional state, mental state about her when you're not on the same shift?
It's great when I'm not on the same shift unless I have to go to court, and it's difficult to go to court and have to try to explain something that I know was done incorrectly on her end. The attorney, I've confronted that too for cases and said, hey, how do I handle this when I'm testifying that something wasn't done properly? And is that something that I need to handle? Or
so, hey, listen, at this point, at this point, you've got to put in writing a public protest. I mean, you've got to put in writing to your bosses that there's unethical work being done, that there's mismanagement of cases. These things, you've got an ethical and moral responsibility to your local community. That's what you signed up when you went to work at a police department. The second thing is this type of sloppy work or unethical work, or however you want to characterize it, is going to result in either bad guys getting off or good guys going to jail. Right. And that's notwithstanding just this person is miserable to be around.
Yeah.
Right. And so at this point, I think the conversations, unfortunately, you may have heard me say on my show, not by your hand, but in your lap. an ethical issue fell in your lap as a public official, and you've got to put it in writing and say, I'm going to go up the chain here unless this is handled and remedied.
All right, so Sarah, he's right about that, but now we got to start thinking about what's the path out of here, because if you do that, they're not willing to get rid of her. They may get rid of you.
Right.
So you're walking down a path where we've got to have some options. You said you had a couple offers. Are both of the offers a significant financial step back or a slight one?
No, they're huge. It'd be a huge downgrade in pay.
Okay, so
as well as it's a change in hours, and they're not flexible.
All right, so let me ask a really naive question. All right, are those the only opportunities that could exist for you to do the work that you love?
No, it's just if I stay where I currently am, it's around family and stuff too. So it has other benefits as well.
Sure. Okay, so what I'm saying is where else can you go and do similar work?
Just another organization, another police department.
Is that possible?
Yes, except with the pay decrease, yes.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is no. You're telling me the only place to do that forensic work that you want to do is where you are currently. So you're basically you're kind of in a no-win situation. We hope that with what John's saying that this puts the leadership in a position where they do something about this. But if not, I mean, when we talk about forensics and the type of work there, I got to tell you, one of the things I'm going to challenge you on, and again, I'm naive in the sense of knowledge on your particular industry, but I know that the type of work you do, that there are elements, there are tasks, there are functions, there are roles where you can find similar work, may not be in law enforcement specifically, but you can find work like that. Do you agree with me or disagree?
Yes, I agree with that.
So you got to start looking.
Yeah.
So we go, it's a function issue. So for instance, John and I got out of what we were doing. We're communicators, we're content, we're kind of teachers, instructors. We're going, okay, where else can I do that type of work? And that's what you've got to start to do. The investigative piece, the analyzing, the solving, whatever you would say, break that job down very simply by making a one sheet. What's the type of work that I do that I love? And let's start looking for opportunities to do that. What do it take to get qualified? How much will that cost? How long will it take to get me there?
Would a law firm want to pick you up in town? When a teaching opportunities?
Yes.
There's a million different opportunities.
Look for that type of stuff, Sarah. You got to do it quickly. And then I agree with John. You have a moral responsibility to do something.
Put this in writing.
Sorry you're dealing with this. Hey, more of those kind of calls. We'll help you. He's John Deloney. I'm Ken Coleman, and this is The Ramsey Show.
It's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio. This is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your work, your relationships. And we've been talking about all kinds of awful work, leadership issues. It's causing people to feel burned out, people to feel stressed. What should I do? Should I leave? It's a good paying job, but it's awful to go into. Dr. John Deloney is joining me. I'm Ken Coleman. We are Ramsey personalities, and we host our own shows on the Ramsey Network, and we're here for you. 888-825-5225 is the number. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Atlanta, Georgia, where Bobby joins us. Bobby, how can we help?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
We are living the dream. What's up?
So I got a relationship question for y'all. I think that my dad enables my older brother to his financial detriment, and it's happened many times in the past, but specifically right now, my brother wants $20,000 from him to catch up on some past due child support that he's getting in trouble for. And my dad usually bails him out, but he's 60. He only has about $150,000 in retirement with $600,000 in debt. So he doesn't really have the money to keep bailing him out. should I say something to my dad and brother, or should I just let it go since I'm not really involved?
That's an onion we just heard.
That's exactly right, man. There's a lot there. What is your dad compensating for?
My brother's mom wasn't involved in his past.
So is your dad
And
trying
my dad
to?
feels guilty about
There you
that.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's two things at play here, Ken. I'd love to hear you hop in here too. At the end of the day, unfortunately for you, this is a conversation between two grown men, your dad and your brother.
Right.
Also, you love these two men, right? These are your family. These are blood.
Right.
And so I would say by proxy, you have the opportunity to have a conversation. Understanding that when you have this conversation, which I would if I was you, there's a chance that you burn this bridge between both of them, right? And so what you've got to do is put on your responsibility hat and your what are you trying to accomplish hat. Are you trying to protect your dad from your little brother? Because if so, you're going to be going to a 60-year-old man who's trying to do well and say, you know what, you could be doing better. And no dad likes to hear that from his son, right? Or are you trying to burn your brother? Are you sick of him leeching off your old man? And so you're going to try to go through your old man to get to your brother? Again, you see what I'm getting at? So I want you to be really clear about what you're heading into. I can see a really remarkable father-son conversation where you sit down with him and say, I want you to have permission from your other son to stop this. You're a dad. You did your best. We love you. Of course, there's crazy stuff in the past. You don't owe us. You don't have to play catch up by making yourself unstable in the future. Because let's be honest, based on this trajectory, David, you're the one that's going to be taking care of him. He didn't have any retirement, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you're going to be one having to clean this mess up. And I think a honest conversation about, hey, I want you to have permission to not have to try to fix anything from the past, Dad, is warranted. It's great. I would have that conversation. But you have to be prepared for what's on the back end, right? For him to say, hey, forget you, for your brother to find out and say, heard you went to dad, and like all that kind of nonsense. You've probably been dealing with that your whole life. Is that fair?
Yes, true.
Yeah. Is your dad going to be receptive to that conversation?
I think he will be.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's usually pretty receptive. I think it's more going to be an issue with my older brother.
I wouldn't talk to the older brother.
Okay.
Just my opinion. If it's me, that I don't know what the benefit of that is. And maybe I'm cynical. I don't know, John.
Yeah, do y'all talk to each other? It depends on the state of your relationship, I think.
No, we do not.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
a waste
reason.
of time.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Dad, and John told you how to do that. I don't. Look, if it's me talking to my dad, I'm going, Dad, look, you're such a good dude. Your heart is amazing, but I'm just sitting here looking at your retirement, and I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your situation, not my brother's. I'm not here to talk about him. I'm not here to talk about what you've done for him. I'm only approaching you on this as your son who's worried about your financial situation because I'm going to take care of you.
Right.
But, Dad, I think you've done enough. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not asking you to do anything, but I'm asking you – I guess I am. I'm asking you to go, is this really going to help the situation?
Right.
And how much is this going to hurt you if you try to help? I think I'm couching it with that posture, but I'm not talking to the brother because I think I'm hoping that it's a confidential conversation between you and your dad and that your dad doesn't even bring it up because the brother situation's already not healthy. There's not much of a relationship there, and I think that makes it more of an issue. And hopefully your dad goes, you know what? Bobby's right.
And this isn't a, hey man, older brother got laid off again. He's working hard and he's trying to make rent. This is $20,000 of.
He's a deadbeat dad.
Yeah,
let's just call it what it is.
Child support.
Right. Yeah. And this is the third time.
Yeah, he's a bum, dude.
This is a pattern.
Yeah.
So he needs to hit rock bottom. And let me tell you something. This is hard. Yeah. All right. I hate seeing my kids learn painful lessons. I got 3 teens. Fortunately, we haven't seen a whole lot of pain.
Yeah.
But even the minorest, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's time for your brother to feel the sting.
But there is a sense of dad thinking, I played some role in this, and I'll go to the ends of the earth, and I get that sentiment.
Yeah.
It's that moment when you cross over and you're enabling it, right?
Yeah.
There's been no reason for your brother to get a job and step up and do what he's supposed to do and pay child support, for God's sake. If you won't be a dad, at least you can pay for the kids' food and diapers, for crying out loud, right? But he's not. And now we're to the enabling part. So
it might be good for Dad to get in his face if Dad's got it in him. Might be good, but that's just me. That's where I'd be. I would just be in his face saying, it's time for you to put on your big boy pants. But I don't know if that's going to work either.
It's not. It won't. But
it might
Bobby,
feel
thanks
better.
for your heart, man. Have a great conversation, but have it
thank you,
gently
Bobby.
and with an open hand there.
All right, we've been asking for some calls. We got them coming in. Hey, I'm in an awful work situation. I got a horrible leader. It's not leadership. It's leader.
I want to hear.
You know
about,
what I'm saying? And you got that problem.
I want to hear about the bosses.
All right, here's some fun stuff. How about a couple of funny work fails, John?
Okay.
Okay. We've all blown it at work, embarrassment or whatever. How about a little humor here? These are from the internet. I once called in sick in order to go to another job interview, only to find that my boss had done exactly the same thing and was sitting in the same waiting area.
Who got the job?
Neither one of them, by the way.
Oh,
How about that?
It's an awesome Monday.
You think you're playing hooky and applying for a new job, and you walk in and your boss is there. This is a sign that you're not in a really great company. Wow. Here's a fun one. On my first day of work, big pressure day, I accidentally called my boss Daddy.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine looking over at Dave and be like, hey, Daddy, can I...
No, I would resign immediately and clean my desk up.
That's exactly. Hey, the other day I stood
up. In fact, I don't even want that in my head.
I was in a meeting and I stood up and said, hey, guys, I'll be right back. I got to run go TT.
Well, you have a toddler daughter.
I have a 5-year-old daughter, but the room got quiet, and I just said, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Well, John, we got some good news. We're going to take a short break so you can go TT.
I will go TT, and I'll be right back.
For the rest of you, hang on. We're coming right back with your calls. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more.
Welcome back, America. You are listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, John Deloney, and we're thrilled to have you with us. 888-825-5225. The number is 888-825-5225. Imagine what your income could do for you if it wasn't tied up every month in credit card bills, student loans, or car payments. How much different would your life look than it does today? That life is possible, and it doesn't have to take as long as you think. It starts with Financial Peace University, the class that's helped nearly 6 million people learn the proven plan to get out of debt and build wealth. But it's more. It's not enough just to learn that plan. You've got to put it into action every day, and you do that by budgeting with every dollar. And you can get both of those only at one place. Ramsey Plus is the place. You can create a life where money works for you, not against you. It's time to ditch the debt for good. Start your free trial of Ramsey Plus by texting TRIAL. Text the word TRIAL to 33789. That's TRIAL to 33789. Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Today's question comes from Laura here in Tennessee. We relocated last year due to my husband's job, and I took the first job that was offered to help our family financially. COVID happened, and then the CEO laid off several employees, and now I'm working 12 to 14 hours per day and weekends. I'm burned out and it's affecting my health. But the problem is in our small town, the average salary is $40,000 a year, and I'm currently making $70,000. Am I stupid to leave my job in this security? We have saved up $30,000 in case I quit. but I'm not sure what I would do next. Well, John, these questions are tough when you get something like this. It's got a lot of layers, and we can't go back and forth and ask them questions. But based on what I'm seeing, number one, you're not stupid to take care of your health, and you're going to be forced to stop this.
Your body will stop you if you don't.
Point.
Right.
That's right. And so the fact that you saved up $30,000, in this case, I'm okay. Again, we don't know their debt situation. We don't know much here. But if we can plan financially by either cutting costs, tightening the budget, saving some extra money to get her out of this situation and find something else, and we adjust our lifestyle, if that's what needs to happen, then do it. But the first thing I'd love for you to do is go to your CEO and go, hey, thanks for keeping me, number one. Number two, you know that I'm stepping up. I'm working 12 to 14-hour days, 7 days a week. I think you understand. I want to be here, but I can't keep this schedule up. Can you help me help you? Because I want to keep stepping up. I want the job. But can we sit down and talk through a situation? There's a posture of humility and hunger and gratitude, but I'd start there. It's worth at least raising your hand going, how much longer are you asking me to do this?
Yeah, so I've been a part of several organizations that had significant human reductions, right?
Yeah.
We've had to let people go.
Yeah.
And one of the things that when you're on the side of the ledger that gets to stay is, right, we've talked about this before, but you go to fight or flight.
Yep.
Your brain goes into panic mode. And nobody ever stops and has that question. Hey, I'm 14 hours in, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And sometimes a simple conversation with your CEO, they say, oh, gosh, take care of yourself. You're one of the last ones we got.
Sometimes they're not aware.
They're not aware.
Because they're also burning it.
Their life is on fire, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so letting somebody know, hey, I need to start taking care of my weekends. I need to start protecting my family. I haven't seen my husband in a year. I haven't seen my wife in 2 years. What does this look like? Yeah. And again, I love that humbly, quietly, not accusation, not all fired up. Baby. Hey, look, so now we're settling into a rhythm here, and this rhythm is unsustainable.
Yeah.
And if they fire you for that conversation, you are going to fall off anyway.
Yeah.
It's just
But don't just assume that they won't work with you. Don't walk away from 70.
That's right.
Let's just see if we can figure it out. And
Ken, why you talk to folks all the time. Why do people avoid that conversation?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I believe to be the why from listening to thousands of people talking about it.
Yeah.
But you've got the psychology training, so this is fun.
Okay.
The why on the surface is they don't want to deal with the confrontation.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't have to be confrontational, it feels like confrontation.
Yeah.
So that's my way of saying it. It's kind of yucky.
Yeah.
They're like the idea of sitting with my boss and going, hey, I don't think I can keep doing it this way. It's physically bothering me. We're worried they're going to immediately fire us.
You're done.
So we'd rather leave on our own with an unknown than deal with somebody looking at us going, what's wrong with you? I'm going to fire you.
Yeah, are you a loser? Or are you a...
Yeah. And so that's what I mean by confrontation. Part of it is the fear of being fired.
Yeah.
But you'll suffer instead of going...
For that unknown.
Will you help?
Yeah.
I want to be here.
Yep.
Tell me, what's the real layer there?
I think it's our bodies solve for equilibrium. We get addicted to stress chemicals, biochemically, right? You can get addicted to the chaos and the drama, and you can get addicted to literally everything's on fire. And we don't have a picture in our head of what good, hardworking, busting it all day, but then being able to go home and be with your family. We don't have a picture of what that even looks like sometimes. So we don't know what we're trying to solve for, and so we end up waiting until there's a crisis, and then we just run around and we play avoidance, right? So you got to lean in, like you said. What are you aiming for? And it always starts with the humility conversation.
Yeah. And I'll say one other thing too, that also it's not just confrontation; it's what's going to be on the other end of it, the unknown. So what we do is, to your point, I've never heard that before. We're addicted to those chemicals. We go, I'm pretty much physically and emotionally miserable.
I'm out.
But hang on really too long, and we'll go, but at least I know what that's about.
That's exactly right. It's
terrified to walk to the boss's office and go, hey, I'm afraid.
Yeah. It's when you've been overweight 40 pounds and you go lose it, your body solves for that back, right? It will gain that weight back because that's where it knows.
What they know.
Even though it kills you, even though it's what you know. It's why you can get out of a toxic relationship and you find yourself right back in another one because that your body will solve for that equilibrium. So you got to change the equilibrium, and you can only change that with peace, right? With a destination of where you're going. So I love that idea of having that conversation.
Hey, let's go to a YouTube question. How about that? We love.
Well, shout out to the
audience.
YouTubers.
A little shout out to the YouTubers out there. Sydney writes in a very interesting question, John. Do you have any advice for choosing a therapist when you're starting a mental health journey? This is a fabulous question.
Yeah, I love this question. So, number one, some places wherever you can get in, right? Start there. I've got a.
Do you mean because it's an emergency? Go get to the ER. Is that what you mean?
No, it is the demand on mental health care in the country is so overwhelmed that you call a therapist nowadays and it may be a 6-month wait. It may be a 4-month wait.
So you go where you can.
Right. So
Okay.
I got a partnership with BetterHelp.com. You can go to BetterHelp.com/Deloney and they'll give you it's online therapy, right? Yeah. You can do it through your TV in your living room.
That's good.
If you have a safe place there. But sometimes it's getting in. The most important thing is lining up with somebody that you feel comfortable with. And what comfort means is you will tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yeah.
And that they are able to listen. They create an atmosphere where you feel comfortable. And here's where that's kind of challenging is, Ken, you and I go to the same therapist. Yeah. I might walk in and be like, this guy's a scammer, I'm out of here. And you may walk in and your shoulders drop and you say, that's for me.
Yeah.
So I always encourage people to find somebody that is in your local community that has a good reputation that your friends or somebody you know or your colleagues refer you to. You go sit in there, and after 2, 3, 4 sessions, if you think I'm shielding myself, I'm not being honest here, then walk away.
See, that's good to hear because I was going to ask. There's no damage done by going 2 or 3 sessions with one person, not feeling it, and going to somebody else. It's not like you're starting a new regimen as far as medicine. You're just talking to somebody.
That's right, and you don't owe them anything. They're grown-ups, right? They're big boys and girls.
I agree with that. They'll
Walk
be
away,
fine.
Man. It's the same as when you go to talk to an advisor about your finances and you kind of feel uncomfortable and they start kind of selling you and you just don't want to leave. Get up and walk out.
Yeah.
Walk out, right? This is your mental health. But ultimately, the research tells us the most important thing with a mental health practitioner is the relationship. And so you got to feel safe. You got to be able to tell the truth. You got to not lie. And you got to go and keep going.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And can I just tell you, I mean, John's professionally trained. I've done it. Can we just get over the stigma of what somebody thinks when you walk in the lobby? They're just as messed up and just as broken as you are. Just go, tear the Band-Aid off, and just speak to somebody who's a professional who knows how to see you. It's so important.
It's incredible, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Nothing to be scared of. I'll tell you what you don't need to be scared of. Is more of The Ramsey Show. It's coming up. Welcome back, America. You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. We are Ramsey Personalities, and we are here for you, taking your calls about life, money, your work, your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. All right, let's go to Jared, who joins us in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Jared, you are on The Ramsey Show. How can we help?
Hello.
Hey, Jared, how can we help?
Good. Say I've got a big relationship issue I'm hoping you guys can help me out with.
Bring it on. What's up?
So me and my fiance, we've been together roughly 4 years, engaged, coming up on a year. And I've gone to her with the Total Money Makeover, as well as the 5 Languages of Love and several other, let's get a good foundation before we get married. And I sit down, explain to her this is extremely important to me. I've read the books front to back, listened to the audio tapes, and I cannot get her on board with anything. And I really don't know what to do.
Why won't she get on board? If you had to diagnose it, why won't she get on board? Or let me ask it more directly. Why does she value what you want in this relationship so little that she blows off your heart, your passion, your contribution to this relationship? Why does she devalue you so much?
I think a lot of it comes from both the relationships that we have, my parents and her parents to look at.
Nope. What is it about you?
Wow, that's depressing, John.
Yeah. I guess I'm one of these people that before I even go to her with like the Total Money Makeover, like I read the book front to back. I knew everything. Here's the budget, X amount of dollars in, out, in between, and then I just here's everything and I lay it all out in front of her.
Mm-hmm. What else do you do that with?
Any little hobby.
There you go.
Hey, let's go on vacation. We're going point A to point B, $14,000. I mean, I know every in and out before I even bring anything to her.
So is there a possibility that this woman you love feels that she is a data point in your spreadsheet, or that she is a cog in the machine that you are building for your life? And that Total Money Makeover, love languages is just another scheme, is just another something or other that you have prescribed for her life to come.
I can see it that way, yeah.
My guess is she can too. And so at some level here, she loves you. She wouldn't have been with you for 4 years. Do you think she loves you?
Yeah.
She does. And she's also developed an alt universe where she does whatever she wants to. She lets you do your little thing, and you're probably on to the next thing in the next few months, right? And so she has now learned to love you and just let you be. My wife has done the same thing and I'm speaking with authority here because this sounds like my house. I come home and say, guess what, honey? We're all going to learn how to play guitar. We have a family band. And when we first got married, she would say, that sounds ridiculous and stupid. And you have grad school and this and this and this. Now she goes, cool, John, that's going to be fun. Because she knows in about 3 weeks, I'm going to be on to the next thing. Right?
All right, so I have a question. I'm listening to this. Yep. How much of this is she doesn't like this idea regardless of all this?
I don't think the ideas even matter at this point.
Oh, so what does he do?
I think he sits down and has that conversation. Do you think, have I turned you into a project, honey? We're about to get married. We're about to spend our life together, and I feel like I've come at you with hobbies and vacations and stuff. Is there a possibility that over the last 3 or 4 years, I've turned you into something, a problem to solve? I've turned you into a widget in the life I'm trying to build for us, and I've stopped listening to you. What do you want this thing to look like? And what I want you to do, man, is I want you to bring her into the picture painting process that y'all are doing together.
Okay.
I think that the Total Money Makeover will become a part of your life just because it makes sense. It's foolish to not do it. But right now, it's just another scheme in a long line of schemes. And you're painting a picture for your relationship that she's not even allowed to pick up a brush.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes...
Is that fair?
A lot of... Yeah, very fair.
And here's the danger there. She's going to paint a picture for her life. She'll just do it without you. And I remember distinctly about a decade ago, and then it happened again 3 or 4 years ago, where I realized I had put my wife in a position where she had to paint a picture because I had excluded her from the one I was painting. And I got to keep going back, and I got to keep going back. And now I've developed a rhythm where this is just a part of our life where I keep coming back to the table and making sure we're both working on the same canvas.
Yeah. But doing all that, John, he's still got to make it clear.
This is important to me.
That if we're going to get married,
right,
this is how I believe we should handle money. What questions do you have? Still take it back to her.
Right. So the question becomes less, I want to do this thing for our family, and more, I am terrified I can't breathe with all this debt.
Yes. And give her some why, not how. He's just overwhelming her with the how.
Another plan. Hey, let's go on a vacation. Not for us to spend time together, not for us to deepen our relationship, not for us to get some R&R, but so that we can do this track that I found, and I got us a plan and a plan and a plan and a plan. Man, that's different, right?
That's exactly
so I want you to sit down with her and say, the debt in our relationship makes it to where I can't sleep. and I can't breathe, and I can't fathom bringing kids into this relationship. I can't fathom 20 years down the road when we still owe this money. Will you be a part of painting that? And that's a different conversation than, honey, I got another plan for us, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right.
And then she's a part of painting that picture.
Yeah. Thank you for the call, Jared.
It's an awesome thing. Hey, you're a good man, Jared. I'm glad that you called and said, hey, how can I turn this thing around? I want you to go to her and ask for her input for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. 888-825-5225. Let's go back to, we were getting some fun questions from YouTube. We were kind of going, hey, fire those away in the chat room. So we only got a couple minutes. We'll do this one.
Okay.
All right, because this is a fun one.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's not fun. It's a sad one, but it's different.
Fun.
It's unique, right?
I haven't heard this one.
Yeah.
So Jack wrote in, I keep hearing the phrase toxic positivity. What is it? I have the same question. I think I know, but take that one on.
So it's the other side of the bell curve. We all know Eeyore. We all know.
Oh, can't find his tail. He's depressed
my
about it.
husband never picks up his shoes. My wife always wants to watch her show. Is she a great wife? Yeah. She a good mom? Yeah. Does she love you? Yeah. Right? And so you're like, what are you doing? This is the opposite of that. Hey, your husband's cheating on you, hon. Yeah, but he provides food. And he is always right. Toxic positivity.
Delusional optimism.
That's right.
Okay.
And it's not. I'm an optimist by nature.
No,
right?
I said delusional. That's the key word there.
There's a
wow.
Well, he left me, so it's probably for the best. And so I'm just going to find the happy here. And
your house is on fire. Well, the furnace needed to be replaced.
We had, you know what? We probably needed some more carbon in the atmosphere.
That's probably a character on Saturday Night Live at some point.
It is, right?
Yeah.
But it's a coping strategy. It's an inability to say, I am in a mess. This is hard right now, and I need to grieve this. My heart's broken. And that, man, sometimes people, I've heard this phrase several times, especially people who work in trauma. They say, if I start crying, I'll never be able to stop. And one way to combat that, unhealthy, it's pathological, but an unhealthy way to combat that is just toxic positivity. I'm just going to ignore anything negative, and we'll just continue we'll repeat those phrases that we see on bathroom walls and on pillows, right? That are crocheted on those little signs in bathroom walls, not graffitied on the bathroom walls. But
we don't have time for this, but next time we're together on the Ramsey Show, I think we might break down toxic. How do we know if it's toxic or something else? Because I'm afraid this word is getting worn
out of control.
So what's the difference between it's not great versus toxic? Because I hear toxic, I go, man, I'm not going to touch that. I'm thinking Batman, like a Batman movie where you fell into the toxic slime and you die.
You melt. That's right.
Melt versus, it's not so great.
People
that's
use
kind of
toxic
crappy.
I'm uncomfortable. Yeah. This is not that.
I don't know. You got to be careful with that word.
I'm with you.
Pause. The next time you want to say toxic, pause and go, am I going to melt and die? Maybe we could start there. This is what you come to the Ramsey Show for right there, that kind of depth. Don't move. We're coming right back. Welcome back, America. You are joining the conversation here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. Thrilled that you are with us. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. Today's scripture comes from Micah 6, verse 8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Our quote from Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. You know, John, you and I were talking earlier that it's sad how little history we Americans know. I think if there was one woman that everybody ought to know every time they hear the name and everything about her, it's Helen Keller. Unbelievable strength.
She pulls a lot of excuses off the table for me. Anytime I think, this is too hard, but Nope, it's not. You know what I mean?
What an unbelievable story. I think we gloss over the quote like that when you think about the woman and what she went through.
Yeah.
I would listen. If you're a parent, I would teach your kids about Helen Keller.
And if you're a parent, I would teach your kids and yourself around the community that rallied around her.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, no question.
She had a lot of people in her corner too.
Yeah.
And we tell that whole story about how community just supports each other. It's awesome.
It's great. All right, let's go to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Chris is on the line there. Chris, how can we help?
Well, I'm disabled, facing divorce, and trying to find a direction.
Oh, man.
I hate that for you, Chris. What happened, man?
What do you mean by what happened? What was the situation?
Yeah, well, let's go. I'll tell you what. Let's go with the disability first. What are you facing?
A broken leg for the last 17 years.
Will it not heal?
Nope. Multiple revision surgeries, whatnot. It hurts to stand.
Yeah.
So are you primarily wheelchair or some type of...
I limp.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And talk about the divorce. What's going on there?
2.5 decade marriage, and she decided to hook up with somebody that she knew from high school.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, dude. When did this happen?
It's been going on the last year.
Okay. When is the divorce
whole legal
final?
thing. I'm hoping the date will be soon.
Yeah. And so you called us and asked what's next. I'll ask you, what's next?
I'd like to find some purpose for my life, something maybe to help others with, my life challenges that I've been through, maybe to help others, but just don't know how to go about it.
Okay. Oh, now I love this.
Yeah.
So, Chris, let's start with a big fun question, and I want you to, if you can, disconnect your brain for a second, answer with your heart. Okay? I want you just let your heart answer this question. What would you try tomorrow if you knew you could not fail? You knew that you could not fail and that you would really enjoy it, but you didn't also have to commit to it for the rest of your life. What would you do, Chris?
Wow, that's a pretty tough one there.
I know, but here's what I know, Chris. I've asked that question thousands of times. And I know that when I asked it, there were ideas that were popping in your head. I know this to be true. But it's hard to kind of fire something off. But we're not holding you to it, Chris. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I'm going to ask it again. What would you do, Chris? What would you try? Even an area. Who would you help? How would you help them? And you could get paid for it. What would you try, Chris?
I'd probably help any people dealing with pain.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of purpose there. What's it been like for you to deal with 17 years of a debilitating pain that affects your ability to just function normally and walk?
That's what it does. It messes up your whole ability to function.
Yeah.
What kind of work do you do now?
As I said, I'm on disability.
Okay, you are on full disability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: How limiting?
So financially, I'm trashed.
Oh, I get you. We're going to help you with that, by the way. So, what could you do? Is it something that you can sit at a desk, sit and talk on the phone, over video? I mean, tell me what the physical limitations are beyond pain.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem is the pain just debilitates you to the point where you just don't want to do nothing. When it hurts to stand up, it sort of sucks.
But if you were helping somebody...
it would probably give you a better outlook to be able to help somebody else deal with it.
Sure.
There you go.
It would distract you.
Yeah.
Well, it gives you that purpose you're talking about.
That's
it
right.
gives you contribution.
That's
right?
it. And that's what I talk about every day. And I think there's something there. And I think you've got to get to a point where you go, okay, I still have some talent. So the fact that your leg is causing all this physical and mental pain doesn't take away from the fact that you still have talent. If I interviewed everybody that knows you, Chris, I went around Kalamazoo and wherever else they live, and I said, tell me what Chris does best. What would they tell me?
I don't know, try and help others.
Yes.
Come on. There's something else there. Talk to me about a technical skill or a hard skill that you're just good at doing. Talk to me, Chris. Tell us.
I got a history of good mechanical ability, but that sort of gets taken away when you're.
I get that.
Don't have the physical ability.
I get that. Let me push back, Chris. But a mechanic is not just good with his hands or her hands. The mechanic's good with their brain. They can see things that I can't see. They can analyze, and then they fix the problem. Don't you still have that mechanical brain, Chris?
Oh, yeah. I even went back to school and tried to do something in the medical field, but it was just a little too physically demanding.
There you go. All right. Now, John and I can't solve the physical part. And, John, I want you to come in and let's talk about some of the emotional stuff, but I want to get to the financial, Chris. Here's what we're going to do for you. Chris, in just a moment, we'll put you on hold, and Laura's going to get you in Ramsey Plus. It's going to get you Financial Peace University. We'll get you a copy of Dave's book that's helped millions of people. Total Money Makeover. I want you to read it. I want you to do it because I'm telling you, brother, you can do it. We've got a plan for you to get your financial house in order, okay? And I know it's tough because you're on disability. But John, I'm going to turn it over to you because, this guy's been through this, the medical stuff, the mental stuff. But Chris, here, let me tell you something. You have got to find a way to use that mechanical brain because that brain still can add tremendous value in so many places in this world because really you're that mathematician, you're that problem solver, and there is value. There are things you can do. But I would also want you to look into a little bit more on the helping people side of things and how we could get you qualified. So I'm going to turn you over to John because I want John to encourage your heart because that's a big part of this. But we're going to get you in Ramsey Plus where you get all that plus every dollar. We're going to get you. And Laura, let's also get him a counseling session where we can get you with one of our coaches. That's our gift to you and get you a starting point and get you off into this. And I also want you to consider calling my show in the next couple of weeks and let's do a deep dive on some possibilities. John?
Chris, are you heartbroken that your wife did this to you?
Yeah, I actually believed in my vows. She did.
There you go. Hey, you're heartbroken. Are you heartbroken that your stupid leg won't heal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sucks.
It happens.
It does. Hey, hold on. It happens. And right now you've been dealt a couple of hard hands, and it's heavy. And I want you to find somebody you can grieve with, whether it's a professional, whether it's a buddy there in town. I want you to sit down and take ownership of this. This sucks. It hurts, and it's hard.
Hey, I'm alive. I'm blessed, really.
Yeah. No. Don't blow it off. We just talked about toxic positivity. Don't blow it. You got to sit for a second. This hurts. Okay? It hurts. It shouldn't have happened, and it did. Right? And then, you still have value to add to this world, to your neighborhood, to your family, to your friends. And you know this. Your brain does what you tell it to. And so you're going to have a period of grieving that you deserve, and then you're going to work real hard on turning the reflection in the mirror into somebody that you don't like, into somebody that has value, into somebody's going to go make a difference in your community, and you're going to go out there and you're going to get them. Okay, we've given you some tools and resources. You're going to use them now, brother. You're going to use them because you have value and you're worth it.
Chris, you're in the storm. But the sun is coming.
Get somebody to sit in the storm with you.
We got some help coming your way. Hey, I want to thank our producer today, Ben Hill, our associate producer, Laura Johnson. I want to thank my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. And we want to thank you, America. This is your show. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.